Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ariala talking to you this time about sociology and education. And like most social structures, complex topic, not too many easy answers is as much as we want there to be. One thing that's important to realize in just about any subject that you're studying is that it is often difficult to find simple solutions, especially when we're talking about such a huge structure, bureaucracy, aspect of the government, which is public education. And your text reports on some pretty dismal data about what's happened in education from decades ago to not too long ago. And so that's one of the things that we're going to be discussing too, what that kind of information means. So some of the important concepts that sociologists typically look at are the manifest functions of education as well as the latent functions. And these are both important. And it's one of the reasons, these two concepts are one of the reasons why education is such a difficult, complex topic, because people basically tend to think about education and schools as, well, that's where I send my kids to, learn about stuff like math and science. However, there are many latent functions, and there are many parties who are very interested in what actually occurs in schools. So there are a lot of people who think that certain programs, certain curriculums, certain theories, certain perspectives, etc., should or should not be taught. Some of you may be aware of the huge, it's still going on to this day, trial and issues surrounding teaching evolutionary theory in the schools. The Scopes trial, which, by the way, there's a pretty good movie made of it, I encourage you to watch, but really had an impact on our educational system, and evolutionary theory continues to be one of the most widely disputed topics in education, whether or not it should be taught. So, so we have these manifest functions of, this is what most people think about as schools, that their role is. And then we have latent functions. And latent functions are tricky because, like I said, so many people have their opinions, perspectives, beliefs about what should be included in education. And so there are a lot of messages that are shared, distributed, gotten across, etc. So, and it starts with parents and school children, to teachers, to principals, to people who work at the schools, all the way up to the President of the United States. So it's a really complex thing, and it's important to really consider latent functions as well as what people think should be the latent and manifest functions. And when you're thinking about latent functions, this is where you really need to engage in critical thinking, because there are a lot of latent functions, and it can be important and helpful to kind of tease them out so that we can really get a sense of what our educational system is doing compared to what people in general and people specifically want it to do. And so some of the important things that are discussed in this chapter 2 about college, and I thought it was interesting, the authors write, by mistakenly believing that the sole function of college is to learn specific job skills, students may be pressured to select majors in which they have little interest. And so I thought that was important as someone who works as an advisor. I talk a lot with students about what their interests are and how they can match that to a career. And sometimes they are influenced by their parents or family and things like that. So it's important to think about college as having several different functions, not just to learn subject matter, but as your authors write, that there are also other things that are transmitted through college and other purposes of college, not just to earn a degree. So that can be helpful when you're thinking about what you're doing in college. And then the authors talk about some of the different theoretical perspectives that sociologists utilize to analyze what's going on in education. And one of the major ones that we've discussed before is norms. So the transmission of norms is an important one. And some of the things that are relevant in thinking about sociology and education are things like what do we believe about children, and this, I mean, that varies widely from parents to cultural groups, ethnic groups, to societies and communities. So it's really a challenge. School boards are a very important component and have very important influences in their local schools. And that's one of the reasons why people want to serve on school boards, is because they can have a major influence in the texts that are used, the curriculum that is chosen, and things like that. And so they really do have a major impact on education. And there's some interesting information in there about intelligence testing. There's a lot of debate about whether or not intelligence tests are biased. Some people have evidence to say that they are. Some people have evidence to say that they are not, and that there are other IQ tests that have been created to try to eliminate the bias. And so if you study psychology in more depth, you'll learn more about those kinds of things. And then, you know, I also work at a community college, and I've read recently that community colleges have multiple functions, and sometimes, often, people don't really know what they are, and there can be competing interests at the community college level just as well as there are for high school, elementary through high school. And so community colleges, some people see them as a place to go to just to, you know, learn something new. Some people see them as a place to get started in college and then transfer. Some people see them as a place to earn a certificate so that they can learn an additional skill, so that maybe they're more employable. And then the community has expectations about what happens at community colleges. So again, it's complex, and the more that we educate ourselves about different aspects of education, the more that we can understand the different influences and then sort of tease them out. Thank you.